Do you know exactly the moment when you handed over the keys to your life to someone else? Losing freedom in a relationship rarely happens overnight. It is silent, progressive, and treacherous. You start by giving in here to avoid a fight, swallowing your pride there to keep the supposed peace. And before you know it, you feel like that bird in a cage, looking up at the sky but unable to fly. Society sells us the dangerous lie that giving in is always proof of love, but I'm here to tell you something counterintuitive. Love without boundaries is just disguised dependency. If you feel like you are living under suffocating control, walking on eggshells inside your own home so as not to displease, stop everything right now. The naked truth is that the warden and prisoner dynamic was built by two people, often out of fear of losing connection. Maybe you're thinking, but I've already tried talking, I've already fought, and nothing changes. I know how heavy that exhaustion feels. The big mistake is trying to open a locked door using force when what you need is the right key. What I'm going to share isn't about manipulating your spouse, but about reestablishing your position of value through a quick strategy that few couples know. Let's move out of the field of empty complaints and into the terrain of strategic action, where affection and firmness go hand in hand. If you want to stop surviving like a hamster on a wheel and start living fully again, reclaiming your autonomy without destroying your marriage, pay attention to every detail that follows. Hope returns now. Imagine a majestic bird born to tear through the skies, suddenly finding itself locked in a cage far too small for its wings. At the beginning of the relationship, control might even disguise itself as excessive care. Oh, it's just because I worry. But soon, the lack of freedom starts to weigh tons on your shoulders. It's that agonizing tightness in the chest of someone who feels they need permission even to breathe or think differently. Marriage, which should be a nest of peace, ends up turning into an emotional prison where individuality is the first victim to fall. As time goes on, the metaphor changes and becomes even more painful. The person stops feeling like a bird and starts seeing themselves as a hamster on an endless wheel. You run, you make an effort to please, you sweat to avoid conflicts, but you realize you're not getting anywhere, and worse, you don't even know where you kept your wings. Identity slowly fades away, and that vibrant hope from the wedding day seems to slip through your fingers, leaving only the tiredness of a monitored routine. For the person on the other side exercising dominion, often it's not out of pure malice, but out of a terrible, insecure fear of losing their partner. But you need to get real. Trying to hold someone with excessive force is like trying to hold sand in your hand. The tighter you squeeze, the more the connection escapes and gets lost. You need to understand once and for all that love cannot survive without air. Suffocating the other is the quickest recipe to kill tender love and create an impassable abyss inside the home. Living while walking on eggshells, measuring every word to the millimeter to avoid an explosion or a dirty look, is exhausting and drains the vital energy of any human being. No one was made to live under such pressure, feeling the pain of confinement while the world outside keeps turning. Without healthy boundaries, the relationship becomes a burden, and the controlled person starts to question how much longer they can stand living under this roof without falling apart completely. Many look at this desolate scenario and think the only exit door is divorce, the definitive end of everything they built. But is the door locked with 7 keys or just stuck from the rust of habit? The truth is that there is a light at the end of this dark tunnel, and it starts to shine the exact moment you decide to look at a powerful tool that was forgotten in the drawer. The question that won't go away when control tightens the chest is there really hope for us? The answer is a loud and vibrant yes, but it requires you to believe, first of all, that the situation can change, even when everything seems rigid like a rock. Believing that your partner can evolve and that you can be the catalyst for this transformation is the first step to sawing through the bars of this emotional cage. Don't fall into the mental trap of thinking that old habits die hard, because human beings have an incredible capacity for adaptation when they are motivated by the right incentive. Now pay close attention here. You don't change anyone by force, nor by shouting louder, nor by isolating yourself in punitive silence. The most powerful influence a wife or husband can exert to recover the lost freedom is through genuine love, the kind that disarms the armed defenses of insecurity. It's like trying to open a stuck door. Kicking it will only hurt your foot, but applying the right oil to the hinges makes it yield smoothly. You have in your hands the power to create an environment where change ceases to be a threat and becomes an irresistible invitation. Think of ancient wisdom, like that described in Colossians, which guides us to seek love above all things. Why is this so vital? Because love has the singular power to form an indestructible bond between people, restoring the connection that fear wore down. When you focus on joining forces instead of dividing territory or pointing fingers, the dynamic of the house changes completely. It's a smart strategy, using affection as a tool to melt the ice of distrust that usually feeds this controlling behavior. But how do you apply this in practice on a Tuesday night when exhaustion hits? Start by breaking the pattern of automatic reaction. If your partner criticizes or tries to impose something, instead of retaliating with stones, try to respond with a firm but calm posture. This isn't being a doormat or weak, it's having the emotional intelligence to interrupt the vicious cycle of action and reaction. By investing in this posture, you plant seeds of hope in soil that seemed barren, proving that it is possible to coexist without becoming enemies inside your own home. However, we need to be realistic. Just being nice or passive doesn't solve the root of the problem, because love needs structure so it doesn't turn into permissiveness. For this transformation to really happen, and for freedom to reign again, it is imperative to handle two distinct tools with total mastery. There is a dual approach, a fine and potent mixture that needs to be prepared with care, and we are going to start by understanding the first ingredient of this formula.
Let's talk about the first vital ingredient of this equation: tender love. Many people confuse this with submission or weakness, but in truth, it is pure applied emotional intelligence. It is the ability to welcome and validate the other, creating a safe environment where the neurotic need for control loses its strength because the fear of being abandoned diminishes. Think of this as preparing the soil before planting. If the earth is dry and hard, no seed of change will sprout, no matter how much you pray. The secret here is to discover and speak the language that your partner's heart understands. Imagine trying to tune a radio to the wrong frequency. You'll only hear static and noise, and the connection never truly happens. Maybe you are expressing love by washing the dishes, but your spouse only feels loved when they hear a sincere compliment. You need to become a detective of the other's emotions and fill their emotional tank until it overflows, because happy and satisfied people tend to bother those around them much less. Let's get practical, no beating around the bush. If you notice that your husband or wife values quality time, leave your phone in the other room tonight. Look them in the eyes and ask how their day was, truly listening for 20 minutes without interrupting. If acts of service touch their heart, anticipate a boring task they hate doing and solve it in silence. These small attitudes, repeated with consistency, return hope to the relationship and show that you play on the same team. I know it seems counterintuitive, maybe even a bit spineless, to give affection to someone who, many times, deprives you of your freedom. But remember, the goal is to disarm the bomb, not detonate it. When you supply the effective needs of the controlling partner, you remove the internal justification they use to tighten the siege. It's a master move to lower the other's guard, showing that they don't need to trap you to have your affection and loyalty guaranteed. However, maximum attention now. Tender love alone does not sustain the house and can even be dangerous if used in isolation. If you stick only to welcoming, you run the risk of becoming a doormat and unintentionally reinforcing the abusive behavior. Affection is the velvet glove, but for respect to be restored and the dynamic to change for good, it is necessary that underneath that glove there is an iron hand ready to act. We have arrived at the second indispensable pillar, the so-called tough love. While tender love welcomes, tough love establishes the necessary structure so the relationship doesn't collapse on your heads. It is the moment to draw a line in the sand and make it clear that loving does not mean accepting the unacceptable or allowing excessive control to nullify your existence. You need to understand that saying no to toxic attitudes is in fact a supreme act of care for the health of the marriage, preventing it from getting sick until it dies. The posture here must be courageous and direct, without beating around the bush or half words that could be misinterpreted. The key phrase that must be said, looking in the eyes, is, "I love you too much to sit here and do nothing while you destroy our marriage with this behavior." This shocks, I know, but it is a necessary reality check so the partner wakes up from their trance. By verbalizing this, you are not attacking the person, but attacking the problem that is stealing the freedom and joy of the home. In practice, this means establishing clear and non-negotiable boundaries about what will be tolerated from now on. If the problem is possessive jealousy, for example, the rule could be, "I will no longer accept being interrogated every time I come back from work. If this happens, I will leave the room immediately." Or if the issue is financial, "Starting today, I will have autonomy over my part of the budget without needing to account for every cent spent at the market." These basic rules work like guardrails on a dangerous road, preventing the car from plunging into the abyss. However, attention, rules without real consequences are just suggestions that no one takes seriously. You need to be willing to follow through on what you promised if the agreement is broken. It's not about punishing the other as if they were a naughty child, but about respecting yourself and showing that the dynamic has truly changed. Telling your partner exactly what you will do until they take the necessary steps to change brings seriousness to the table and forces deep reflection. Implementing tough love gives you butterflies in the stomach because it messes with the power structure that was established for years. It might seem like it will generate momentary chaos, but it is precisely this firmness that breaks the cycle of manipulation. And the most fascinating thing is what happens in the chemistry of the relationship when these two types of love, the one that welcomes and the one that confronts, finally meet and start working together in the other mind. The magic happens when the alchemy between tender love and tough love is complete. It's like a potent medicine. Affection is the sugar that helps it go down, and firmness is the active ingredient that cures the disease. When a spouse demonstrates genuine affection, they create an emotional cushion that softens the blow of the hard truth that needs to be said. Without this base of welcoming, the demand for boundaries would sound only like rejection or attack, closing the doors of dialogue even further. Notice that on receiving tender love, the other lowers their weapons and becomes capable of digesting tough love. The controlling person understands, "She loves me, doesn't want to leave me, but won't accept this treatment." This understanding generates a positive short circuit in the mind, forcing a reevaluation of attitudes that were previously automatic. It's the perfect balance that returns dignity to the one who was suffocated and security to the one who was insecure with control. Imagine the scene. Instead of shouts and accusations, you have mature conversations where the connection is preserved even during disagreement. The wife or husband who felt like a trapped bird finally sees the cage door open, not to flee, but to fly alongside their companion. The freedom ceases to be a threat to the marriage and becomes the oxygen that keeps the flame of passion lit and vibrant. Recovering this autonomy doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily construction of trust and mutual respect. But the reward is a home where no one needs to walk on eggshells, and hope is a constant visitor, not just a distant dream. You stop being warden and prisoner to return to being life partners, walking side by side in the same direction.
This transformation is what separates couples who survive by dragging themselves from those who truly thrive and inspire others. Mastering this dynamic is the skeleton key that opens any emotional padlock, no matter how rusty it seems. Now that you have the treasure map in your hands and know exactly how to act, all that remains is to take the final step to consolidate this victory.
Now, I want to give you a sincere provocation. What good is having the key to the cage in your hand if you don't have the courage to turn it? Knowledge about tender love and tough love only transforms into real freedom when it leaves your head and goes into your daily attitudes. Don't wait for magic to happen on its own. The change in posture needs to start with you, today. I want to know your reality. Which of these two pillars is missing in your home right now? Have you been too nice, allowing everything, or too hard, forgetting affection? Leave it here in the comments, because your courage to expose it could be the light someone else needs not to give up. And look, don't fool yourself thinking that this dynamic of control affects only you and your spouse. Remember that there is a pair of little eyes watching everything in silence. If you want to leave a real legacy, you need to understand that the emotional environment you create inside the home today is the strongest memory your children will carry into adulthood. By the way, there is a list of essential values and memories that money can never buy, and which are decisive for their emotional future, much more than any expensive gift you can give. I left highlighted here on the screen a fundamental video where I reveal exactly what these invisible pillars are that build an unshakable family. It is the perfect complement to what we just discussed. Before clicking on it to continue this journey, check your subscription to the channel and activate the bell, because our mission to transform your relationship is just beginning.